Oh, yeah, welcome back, friends. Old Dirty Derwood is out tonight with all of his sock accounts, him and his little buddies. We're just over in Shenanigans chat. It was a good stream tonight. She's calling out Derwood in that sense because, well, he's behind the scenes trying to intimidate her through emails, through sock accounts, doing the same thing to, Wolfie. I think that's where I heard something about that in the stream, but I wasn't too clear on what it is. So I assume it's old Derwood in the background trying to make out that he's just so tougher than all of these people, and he's going to find out where they live, and he's really doing some heavy insinuating in that sense for the purposes of intimidating a person into silence. Kind of like he was trying to do to Haley Ferdinand. You know, it's been a common factor with him in his intention. Even what he says about his intent with Malaya. Derwood's role in all of this is to act as the public relations official, the liaison between Janie and Daniel, the guilty parties of bringing harm towards Jack and Lily and the public. He's the conduit. And it's not just what he says. Who cares that he's a sideshow at this point? But look at what he's done and why he's doing it. Oh, Derwood, there you are, you little bitch. Get out of here, you tool. All kinds of fucking sock accounts. Let me see. But other than that, it was a pretty funny stream. Other than that, it was pretty good. It was enjoyable. Any chance you get to shit talk that numbskull, it's a fine day. But look at what he's doing. Look at what it is that he's doing. This is a case of two missing children. This is one of those exceptions to so many rules when it comes to, well, Derwood, remaining unbiased. You don't need to be unbiased when it's coming to finding out information about the fate of two missing children. In fact, you need to do the opposite. I already banned him. That was universal truth. That was one of the accounts that's on the list, the list that everybody collects that goes around with the sock accounts from a particular camp or a particular side. And it's always the same crap that comes out of Derwood. He's not very good at this game. Brian Sutherland, word to the streets and SR, good to see you. It's all kinds of things to talk about in that sense. Derwood has we've rocked Derwood so hard. It was probably, I recognized it yesterday in Mike Demand's chat. Mike Demand did a video on Derwood's recent post where he's pretending to call out Daniel and make it look like he's so suspicious of Daniel at this point in time. Attention garnering. And he was in the chat. Really what Mike Demand was doing was giving him an offer to discuss things, to talk in that sense. But Derwood was in chat, and you can see the post on my community page. It says something along the line. What was it? He doesn't need to talk to you, assholes. When I recognized him pop in there, I had to remind him about just how much of a chomo he looks like, behaving and doing this on the back of two children that the people who he's speaking and representing have done the worst of the worst to Jack and Lily in the sense. And of course they have. Oh yeah, she's Hazard. That's funny shit. When I heard that, I knew right away. I had Shenanigans will be the only one that gets that. But we were talking in the background in that sense. and that came up, and right away I knew it was Derwood fucking around. He needs to send all of these little signals and introduce just how associated to all of this underground crime, these crime families in the area. And I'm like, oh, fucking please, dude. He stinks of a fucking poser. There's nothing tough about Derwood. It's the opposite. You don't even know how to act right, Derwood. It tells me that you're probably a tweaker too. And there's a reason that your nose looks like a goddamn Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon character. Fucking booze hound. Done with this shit. Gave him the opportunity last month and he's fucked that up. You fucked that up all right. I can't believe I put myself through listening to his ass over there, but I did it because I felt that there was a point to it and it was an opportunity just to troll the shit right out of him. And of course, this fucking idiot can't stay out. He can't stay out of everybody's live chat. It doesn't bother us. It doesn't bother anybody who's making money off of this, Derwood. You're insisting on being a part of whatever happened to Jack and Lily, and there's a reason for that. There's a greater reason for that, and we're going to figure it out over time. And I mean, not one of you have brought forward at least 1 ounce of credible information that would make yourselves look even remotely possible innocent in any of this. Stuff that would otherwise be obvious. It's the opposite here. We don't need to believe you. We don't need to be convinced any further. It takes you 15 minutes to try to explain that you have nothing to do with something at any one point in time. Good to see you, sweet tea. Horse gone wild, Brian Sutherland. Oh, they're not smart enough for that. But it's not about that at this point in time. What's frustrating is where we are in the information gathering portion of the investigation with the RCMP when you come across criminals like this doing criminal things, not being cooperative, but pretending and going through the motions and acting as though they're cooperative. There's a big difference. You could see this a mile away, but you still have to put the pieces together. You still got to go through the motions. And old Danny boy sat in front of the CBC and really leaked to us some of his approach, if you will. Only it was more ambiguous. See, Daniel feels that if he hasn't given you any of information, that there's nothing to hold against him. Talk about giving your illogical mind away. He continues to try to position himself out of what he really is in all of this instead of any ounce of self-ownership and recognizing how suspicious he is. He just cowers away from that, just like you do, Derwood. What's going on, Silver Gold? Julia Hayden 9213. I think once Malaya comes to terms with everything, it takes a long time for DV survivors to open up and better themselves, and will take responsibility, and likely she'll get a lesser sentence. Yeah, I'm welcome. Listen, we'll get to that bridge when we get there. There is no doubt in my mind that Daniel and Janie are responsible for bringing harm at this point to Jack and Lily. And it's just a matter of time before that case builds so far that they're going to just, in a matter of 24 hours, things will completely change. It'll be classified something completely different. There'll be handcuffs. You know how it goes. The officers have had to deal with uncooperative individuals the entire way and still build a case. Something happened to Jack and Lily. They treat this situation as suspicious. They don't need a reminder. They know how suspicious it is. They just don't take what it is that Daniel tried to explain off, or Janie tried to explain off, as fact in any way. The fact that they're all apart at this point and there's conflict amongst them, and this is by all means an escalation in the disagreement that was already going on within the household to that point. And what that disagreement is going to be all the classical high mark factors. And what does all fights stem around? Money. There is all of the red flags in this situation, Sandra. The circus they invited us to because they don't ever shut up. Yeah. I guess. I mean, when we look back, it's going to be another interesting learning. Another interesting. Hold on. Like, you take a look at Daniel's face, even in the CBC's thumbnail, and the producers know that this guy is fucking guilty. Something on your mind there? Something on your mind there, Danny? They don't disappear into thin air on their own. People make that happen. Where did that go? Hold on, I closed you out. Sneeze hazard. They don't disappear into thin air on their own. People make that happen. That's where we were going with that. You're right. What's up, Mr. Hemi? How come I don't see you in here? But people, yeah, there you are. I see you. Where's our Janie cut? You ever need something to talk about in this case? Hey, creators out there who are looking to make content, get a hold of the 2.5 hour clip from who has it over there? A lot of people have it. Well, I guess you get in contact with me in the background and I can send you the audio file with all of Janie's statements.
And Lily off the school bus. And I'll never forget the expression on the bus driver's face when I took Meadow and said, "Here, watch her while I get Jack out of the seatbelt." He looked at me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if insurance is okay with that. Usually when you're picking your kids up off the school bus, you don't include the school bus driver to hold your kids for you and get your hands all over your precious children so that you can attend to another child. Isn't young Jack old enough to get himself out of his car seat and up out of the car when you're there? Why does this dude need to hold the baby for you, hold Meadow for you? Like, this is like a tweaker geographic moment. That's something like a tweaker would do, Janie.
Because I just said, you have to take Meadow so I can get Jack out of the seatbelt. And I got Jack out of the seatbelt, and I got Lily, and I took the baby from the bus driver, which is Brian Ward. He's a great guy.
What? Brian Ward is a great guy. So now you have a reason to include him in all of this. She's using that. Chris McDonough loves to reference it, the SOG theory all of the time. When that moment in an interview or in the statement of a suspect, they always have to refer to some other guy, SOG, an acronym, in order to add credence or credibility to whatever bullshit statement that they're about to make. When you first hear that and you think, oh, she's telling a lie. Oh, let me listen closer. Listen, you don't have to listen closer to any of these individuals. It's all lies. They're all lying constantly. You don't have to sit around long. No wonder Malaya never wanted Janie watching the kids. It's funny how different she speaks when she's even speaking about Meadow. So it shows us a bit of the dynamic within the household, and they're holding it against Malaya. Like she speaks in a different tone, as though she's not afraid to incorporate a little bit of humanity and motherly instinct or brutish desire in with all of these statements when it comes to Meadow. Listen to how she just described Meadow and her interaction, and she's giggling as though she's wants you to think that she's experiencing something that's joyful. Now, is it genuine? Who knows? But the point is it's different from any sort of her experience and how she goes about describing Jack and Lily, which comes back to complaining about Malaya and how horrible of a mother she was, to the point where she had to constantly remind her, and most times by telephone, just from the driveway in the backyard. Hey, Mary 8748. Hey, B in chat. It's been a minute. Hope it's all good. Yeah, it's all good over here. Everything's good. No wonder Malaya. What? Hey, Pink Roses, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, darling. A little bit more from Janie. What?
You probably see videos about him on TikTok or on YouTube. And I took the kids in the house, and Daniel arrived maybe 10 minutes after I got the kids off the bus, and he cooked them supper. Not me. He cooked them supper. And I did up her housework for her while he was feeding Meadow and Jack and Lily. So yes, Daniel did look after those children. I have not tried contacting the chief. The reason why I would have not contacted the chief is she probably won't tell me anything like she did Belinda, because the children are not mine, and I did not say the kids were on the reservation, so why would I contact the chief? Now, there's people said that they are on the reservation, and as I told you, I do not know where Lily and Jack are. So why would I go and call the chief to ask them if they're there when I do not know if they are there or not?
Oh, wow, the paradox of life there. Heaven forbid. Janie McKenzie provided 2 statements to police on May 2nd, 2025 and May 5th, 2025. The following is a summary of what she said. Janie said Lily and Jack are her step-grandchildren. She lives in the camper on the same property as the residence from where Jack and Lily went missing. She said she saw them all week. Note that she said saw. So we know Janie can differentiate between hearing and seeing, and she knows that they're 2 separate things when she says that she saw the kids all week, as opposed to only distancing herself by saying she heard the kids on that Friday morning. A story that they gave the RCMP, which she spends all the rest of her time undermining and telling you how she doesn't believe any of it. She doesn't agree with the script that old Danny's come up with, probably. Regarding Friday, she said the following. On Friday morning, she got up at 6 a.m. and had tea and cigarettes. Around 7 a.m., Janie went out and tended to her chickens and let her dog out. Which dog? She went back inside and played a game on her phone. Wonder what game? Candy Crush? I wonder what game she plays on her phone. What a weirdo. She got a call from her brother, Ron McKenzie, at 8:48 a.m., and they talked about going to town. After she was done talking to him, she went back to bed and must have dozed off after scrolling on Facebook. She must have just dozed off. Isn't that interesting how Janie in this moment is telling the cops that she must have dozed off? A little hazy about that. They're all a little hazy. They're all in and out of sleep at any important juncture of this morning. Walking around like a bunch of fucking zombies. Admittedly, after she was done talking to him, she went back to bed and must have dozed off after scrolling on Facebook. She must have dozed off. That says that in this police report. Oh, you don't know? You can't put it together? She originally said she might have learned the children were gone at around 8:48 a.m. before she talked to Ron, but later clarified the timeline in her second statement. Her dog started barking and that woke her up. Who's waking me up? She heard Lily and Jack in the backyard playing on the swings and laughing. Then she dozed off again. Another moment she's dozing. She's in and out of sleep. She's dozing in and out of sleep, but still acknowledging somehow that how do we know that you didn't dream that, Janie? How can you differentiate hearing the kids in the backyard in a dream? I'd be interested to know. Her dog started barking and that woke her up. She heard Lily and Jack in the backyard playing on the swings and laughing, then dozed off again. She woke up again when she heard Daniel yelling. This for Jack and Lily. She didn't think anything of it because Jack liked to look for bugs and gets into things when he's doing that. She didn't think any of it because Daniel was yelling at the kids. So she thought Daniel might have been yelling at Jack for that reason. When she came outside, after waking up again, 2 times now, man, just so obscure back there. What the hell is going on in that RV that you're so sleepy, girl? When she came outside after waking up again, she saw Malaya standing at the rock pile, holding Meadow. Malaya said Jack and Lily were missing. Isn't that interesting? How did you know at that point in time that they were missing? And for how long? There's a difference between determining that the kids are missing and you can't find the kids, or you're looking for the children. There's skip over and a skipping over of the whole process of actually searching for the kids and that whole traumatic experience. Again, just like there was in Trezell and Jacqueline's situation.
Get a $3 classic breakfast when you buy any.
No, thank you. No, thank you, Tim Hortons. What's going on, Captain Justice? Captain Justice. What do you have to say, Danny? Can't believe that the CBC is making money. Tim Hortons is advertising in the back of Danny for me.
That's all I found. So brought in classified technology. This, scanned the whole area.
Classified technology.
They found a beaver and a coyote. That's all I found.
Amazing.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
Well, it just rules out one and brings the book a little bit closer to being closed. I mean, one chapter at a time.
How have you been doing?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm doing well, but doing better than I was at the start, I guess. It's physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting, but every day you wake up and it's a new day. New hope. And just keep going forward.
Tell me about the toll, like what you were just mentioning earlier about social media.
Yeah, social media has been quite a circus, we'll call it. But
yeah, it's just been such a circus. Well, why are you on it in the first place, asshole? What's the point of you being here in the first place again? Oh, it's just something that's just so out of his control.
I can't control them, and they're free to judge, but maybe just use a little bit of this before they start typing, or use an AI for pictures.
Still can't see. He still can't say exactly what's on his mind. Fucking asshole.
If you don't mind, I would like to just stay like this because I can have a chance to answer your questions. Because if all these guys keep throwing questions at me, I'm going to read them and then I'm just going to get all confused because I'm going to get one question in with another question, and that's just going to screw everything up. If you guys don't want any questions asked this way, that's fine. I'll stop talking. I get all the time in the world. It's not like I have a life anymore. God, there can't be that many more questions for you guys to ask me. I told you everything that I know. Like, I mean...
What a whiner. She's the one that's fucking up there. Joyous, thank you for the super sticker, darling. I appreciate that very much. God, there can't be very many more questions. You need to... I've told you everything. Haven't I straightened everything out for you guys?
Do you want me to tell you what color the sky is today? Like, how much more can I answer? Like, how many more questions is there? God, I answered more questions than they did in my interview. I have no idea where to search. The only thing I can say is keep the flyers going. All this place has been searched. It's been turned upside down, inside out. There's nothing more they can do here. Like, they even checked the septic tank. They checked the well. They checked everywhere. They checked under my tray, under the trailer. They had a drone under there. They checked here. They checked everywhere. There's no...
She sure is eager to get something over with, isn't she? It's interesting how she's looking for some sort of conclusion to something. Oh, it's done. No need to continue. Everything's said and done. The kids have magically disappeared. No need to do anything at any point in time ever again. You got it, Captain Justice. None of them answer questions directly whatsoever. And when they come close, it's always a deflection. Yeah. They're guilty. Always complaining about how people are judging them. Judging you based off of what you've done. That's probably okay in this situation. It's him fucking up. You're not even telling people straight up what you find bothersome about it, other than you're bringing it up and introducing it. Just like Rob McMahon from Major Crimes Unit was introducing charges and bringing them upon you fucking blot. Donna St. Jean says, Daniel thought when the RCMP couldn't find Jack and Lily, the case would be closed. Well, that's a hope that they all share, I would think. The fact that they're the ones pushing that narrative is a little... little room for doubt in your mind over the reasons why. How is it that they think that they expect to get away with this? The more that they talk, the more that you're going to believe them, hopefully. That's really a little help from Derwood. God, he's such a great friend. Oh, Darren Getty's such a great fucking friend. Talking about love and Jack and Lily.
No other place that they could search here. The kids are not here. The only search that you could search is out there in the world. I felt comfortable answering your guys' questions because nobody was coming to me all at one time. And as I said, I have nothing to hide. I did my interview. I'm free speech now. As I said, I felt comfortable doing my interview. Everything I'm telling you is what's on my interview.
Yeah, that's the reason why you're saying it out. in public. Lee, so Janie raked or didn't rake? Didn't she say that she did on a TV interview and now she's saying no? It bothers me. Well, yeah, that's actually, that's been out for quite some time. Yeah, she did contradict herself. She did come out and say that, no, she wasn't raking in people's live chats. You don't need to believe it or disbelieve it. You need to recognize it for another indicator of deception. But this is a straight out, obvious, overt lie. So the story that they're giving the RCMP is so flawed and not even close to what has actually happened. Not that we believed it to begin with, because it's just not there. There's no context. There's no beef underneath the patties there. Teresa Miro, the more they talk, the more that we all know they're full of it. Their behinds must be jealous every time they open their mouth and shit comes flying out. Okay. I agree. She's so angry about how this has affected her life. It's disgusting. And she hasn't even left her house yet, so how's it affecting her life? Like, you haven't changed anything at any one point in time, but you don't need to get on her for that. That's Daniel's fault. Why is Danny still at home? Yeah, she has no concern about those kids' prayer. You got that right.
Cheers.
I mean, we're coming up on, is it coming up to 5 months?
Yeah, in the second, so yeah, it's less than 2 weeks.
Like, did you ever imagine that we'd be here still talking about this?
No. I thought with the amount of resources and amount of different units for RCMP working on it, everything from dive teams to canine units and social, they've dedicated teams just for social media. They've dedicated
He's just reciting shit that he hears off of the reports that come down through the CBC and CTV. He's just spinning them and giving her the talking points that he hears on TV. It's not giving us any information directly.
It just sits there and watches highway cameras. So,
what's it been like for you now that we're back to September, school's back, and seeing the school bus go by every day?
Yeah, no, it's hard. There's quite a few school buses that go by, and there's a lot of kids in the area I see, and it's sad. It's not just sad for Jack and Lily, but it's sad for everybody who knew Jack and Lily.
Well, isn't that just interesting? Why are you sweating? Isn't that interesting? You didn't even like Jack and Lily. Wade says you beat the kids, smacked them around. So did the people at school. That was their concern. But old Danny just had the same excuses publicly as he did to the Children's Aid. There's always a reason why a child has a black eye, isn't there, Dan? Cool J, his own children said he beat Jack and Lily. Well, yeah, they used the ABUSE term. Reportedly. Calling him a shapeshifter, Tambourine? Yeah, he always likes to tell you what you think you want to hear in that moment. I'm a little concerned that you're generalizing all of this nonsensical statements. And you're twisting them, not even getting them right. It's avoiding speaking directly to even your emotions, and that's rather obvious here. God darn it, Victorian 7192. Thank you for all you do for Lily and Jack. I appreciate that very much. That's very generous. He's sweating over his own lies? Yeah, there's definitely some cognitive load there. Danny claiming his kids hurt themselves is just disgusting. Well, that's just his mentality. Like, it's like the "you made me do this" type of thing. It's like, you made me slap you. Your behavior made me discipline you in such a way that it took your lives. No, I think it's a lot further than that. He had a psychological break because of the circumstances that they brought on themselves. Malaya was the first one to bail out of it, and he saw that and sees that as against the rules. And along with everything else, the children were more and more of a bother. The more and more that they fought, the more isolating it was for everybody. And because he was super annoyed from the kids, he was the one who always went and dealt with them. Because really, the kids probably weren't actually doing anything wrong at any one point in time. They were just putting old Danny boy out. Danny, like Nick, what it's sounding like is going on with, what is it? What's Nick's, what is that director's last name? Excuse me. Too many names on my mind. Meathead from All in the Family. Rob Reiner. Nick Reiner did to Rob and his wife. You know, he had a psychological break under the same circumstances. Daniel's in the exact same boat. Similar stresses. In your opinion, Janie and Daniel conned Malaya into thinking that the kids wandered into the woods? You can't say that yet, Ginger Snap, and I don't think so. You have to have a reason why, but I don't think so. There's all kinds of lying going on, and there's a false narrative being portrayed, and Malaya was excuse me, expected to push it. Holy mackerel. Where's my drink? Yeah, I'm not you again. Really what you're saying is his behavior should be resembling something a whole lot different. If something in that sense happened. Hold on. Yeah, I believe so too. There, horsey gone wild. Malaya knows exactly what happened. She knows enough. It could be probably why she got into this mess in the first place. Ginger Snap. I got no doubt that she was constantly being manipulated by Daniel all the time. It just comes with the substance abuse. Like you're living a lie in that sense. That's out of your control. It just is that way. It's not whether it was or not. It was that way. It's that way every single time somebody is in that situation. That's an extreme violation of trust or whatever trust that you had. Reality of it is it was never a good relationship. What complicated things is Meadow. And Meadow, Daniel and Janie saw Meadow as their possession in that sense. That somehow gave them all kinds of magical rights over Malaya and the situation that they were in and where things were going to go in the future. They did deserve better than this. Of course they did. So you really have to go back, and I don't want to go too far back, and I'm not holding it against Belinda or anybody yet because we're still learning things. But it seems things started to go awry and didn't have a real clear direction when she fought. It sounds like she fought to have full custody and to keep Cody out of the kids' lives for whatever reason. And that's where things started to go wrong. I don't blame Cody for that at this point in time. Neither of them probably really had a good handle on what it is that they needed or wanted to do, and felt that they had to win a fight in the moment rather than think what's the best step to take for our children that we have. Belinda says Cody still managed to live up to his obligation financially and send payments, which that blows my mind. So I don't know what Cody has to get over, but he should get over it. And I wish he was a lot different. Should he have been different, this probably never would have happened in the first place, but I don't hold that against him. My point with that is that Daniel filled that fucking void, and this is the worst case scenario. The situation probably would never have happened if he had an active father in his life, but that's neither here nor there at this point. Just expressing how disappointed I am. Because here Cody pays child support to Malaya, and it's heartbreaking to know that, I don't know the situation. It sounds like he's being made to stay away by and for whatever reason, whether it's legit or not, who knows. But it's heartbreaking to know that he's walking away from two children in that sense. I don't know all the details. Derek, I appreciate that. $10. I appreciate that very much. But because they're probably so young, there's all kinds of really stupid reasons involved that go along with being young and reckless to a degree. So somehow, subconsciously, Malaya wants to fill that void. Like, why would you want to cut people who love your children out of the children's lives just for whatever reason? Now, there's our reasons, don't get me wrong. I'm happy when, I've got a situation like that as well that I had to, or it just simplified things in the process. But I wasn't at any stage of the game trying to keep my daughter away from anybody. Quite the opposite. But it always seems to be a common thing that people end up using children as pawns in that situation for selfish reasons. And I don't know if that's a factor here, but the point to all of that is it seemed as soon as you take their father out of their lives, Jack and Lily's lives changed drastically. Their needs didn't. Their needs increased. And look at what filled that void. Michelle, you're saying, I think MBM is a runner. She doesn't try to solve anything. Her fight or flight sense kicks in. I think that's probably all non-linear, we'll say eccentric, because of the substance abuse. It's all off kilter. Her fight or flight isn't normal. Ilias, yeah, I don't disagree with that. Malaya maybe have isolated herself and her children in a series of bad choices. Yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that what was going on in this particular relationship, and it just, the coercive control you see at work. You can hear it in the language when you listen to the old clips of Dirty Derwood, Darren Geddes. Like he's going on as though he's investing time in this situation and pretending to be concerned and just a good Samaritan, all while really lying to you in the same breath. Just complete fabrication from Darren Geddes' standpoint, aka Darren and Janie in this circumstance. It's disgusting. Hold on. Snack time. That's some Coca-Cola tonight. You never stop your son from seeing your ex's parents' children, either bio grandparents. Well, it's interesting to me that Belinda mentions how different Malaya became when Daniel got involved, because openly he didn't feel comfortable with the situation. What does that tell you? He's certainly not very accepting of the situation where he's so adamant to be in, where he's going to now have a child with this girl. Like, think about Belinda's interpretation of Daniel's attitude at that time. That says a lot. That says a lot. Usually a person, if your intentions are right, are fairly accepting, well-intentioned, and at least participatory. There's no give or take in this relationship. There's no managing it. It's Daniel really controlling Malaya and saying that, no, that's your old self. You can get away from all of that, and you can ignore that life now and just give me your undivided attention. It's part of the control. He probably doesn't even, like we call it, the part of the control cycle. He doesn't see it as such. It's probably just normal to him. Okay? It's just normal to him. He doesn't know it like that. Well, he's starting to learn. He's going to learn, unfortunately. How controlling if Daniel to feel entitled to not let the kids keep their positive interactions with caring family. Oh yeah, and talk about a big chance to, you're really shooting yourself in the foot, because if you're in that situation, sometimes it's nice to have less people around. You know, there's not as much to do. It's not as high paced. Look, you can shop the kids out. You can have them go stay with family for the weekend here and there. Especially that it was a healthy environment as well. So Daniel says to Malaya, or at least Malaya says it, that Daniel said that to him, and I don't doubt that it's true, that he wasn't very comfortable with Malaya coming back to visit with Jack and Lily to their former grandmother's house. Doesn't say any, dude, that's just nothing but 12-year-old jealousy. You're an immature boob in that sense. The fact that you would even say that at that point in time should have been a red flag for Malaya. That would have been you can't even go past that point. The first that you would introduce that, Malaya should have fucking bailed on your ass. Why would she stick around? Probably her addictions had a lot to do with it. Her lifestyle. Her complacent nature. There's probably going to be all kinds of those all along the way that reveal themselves to us. Oh shit, you're not kidding. Oh, not you again, says, but we're social species. Well, most of us. Janie's probably had a lot of trauma in her life. Probably because she induces it herself. She's like walking around with a constant butt plug in. Yes, support can help, but those kids deserve somewhat kind. Janie can't even fake kind, you're saying. Kids know the difference. Oh, right. It's like they talk like Jack and Lily weren't deserving of a good home or kindness. Or that there's anything abnormal about it. And their old Derwood, Darren, is wanting to tell everybody just how fantastic the inside of this shithole is. We don't even have to see. Your inside is not any nicer. Quite the opposite. Another lie old Derwood was carrying on early on, I noticed. The grandparent not... What is that gone? Not you again, says the grandparent not fit to grandparent was Janie, in your opinion, right? And where the fuck was Earl in their lives? Zero word on that. Well, Earl claims he was a better grandparent to Jack and Lily than their real grandparents. So is that the common family, thought in that sense? Belinda got pushed off to the wayside because Earl and Janie thought that they were much better replacements. You got a couple new indentured servants coming in, living in your home that you can boss around. You can enslave and treat like shit, get you to do things, but they weren't all that cooperative, maybe. Cool J's in my chat saying Janie's CBC interview was her putting her best foot forward. That was the nice Janie, and she put on her best clothes. That frickin' Mr. Roper outfit. Do you remember Mr. Roper's wife? That's exactly what it looks like, Cool J. You're right. Mr. Roper, Mr. Roper's wife from the 1970s TV serials Three's Company. Mr. Roper had a wife, that redhead with the perm. She used to wear these huge mumus with the zipper, the zipper all the way down. It's like somebody's shower curtain, and the designs were just outstanding. Yeah, it's similar to that. That's just nasty. That's so fucking crazy. Like, it's amazing what some people find or convince themselves is attractive. Like, what's wrong? Well, you could have just put on like a white or black t-shirt, but no. You could have just put on any old t-shirt or shirt, but no, Janie's going to go and get this funky ass Temu thing that, you know what it looks like. That thing. I hate to even make fun of it because it sounds like I'm mocking her for some reason other than the fact that it's just hideous. Whatever. We all can't be as perfect as I hate to do that to her because, you know, it just seems like piling on. Like she's just such a fucking liar. But the more that you realize she's lying, the more of this caricature you're weaving in your mind, and it's just and she is just a specimen. She is like the perfect villain. She's a villain in this, and she can't help it. There's nothing about her that's genuine. Even when she tries, it's such an awkward, forced, disingenuous, pretentious effort. That's not judging. That's an observation, Danny boy. Big difference. We're here all the time, you know, judging his honesty, and Derwood's throughout all of this. And what does it get us? Derwood puts my name on blast. He puts me on blast on his Facebook. Dude, talk about telling the world that I live rent-free in shenanigans, and Mike DeMann and Justin and the other people you're mad at because you can't stay out of our chats with all of your fucking sock accounts. You're associating yourself to the amount of time that you spend in all of our YouTube live chats, then turn around and complain about it. Fuck is that? Is that the most contradictory thing? Funny as hell, though. Rent-free. It's not the first time, Derwood, but it's one of the funniest ones. The fact that Derwood goes through the effort, and is just so amazingly unsuccessful at convincing people, other than trying to convince them of something other than they should be focused on in the moment. Straight up utilizing is lying in this circumstance. Tells you a lot. The big round curls, big gold hoops, and the zip up mumu house dress, right? The house dress tambourine. Oh yeah, don't know. This is a house dress. Talk about really, really putting a positive spin on something. House dress. That's a hole in my fucking shower curtain. Oh yeah. Oh shit. It's almost as if MVM makes herself the victim in all of this. She's victimized. Well, it depends on what you're really suggesting this is. See, what we're experiencing and going through is a series of criminal acts by the way of the people that you're interacting with, i.e. the last people to see the missing people interacting on social media, actively disinforming on their own situation, relying on flawed logic and what's nothing short of classical red flags of deception throughout everything thus far. That's what the RCMP have to work with. That's the reality of this situation. So it's going to take a little bit of time for them to accumulate enough in order to bring the next steps to this to a close, to generalize. It's not like they have people, it's not like they have legitimate parents who are victims in this circumstance. They have parents who are deceptive and are trying to get away with something. And there's nothing in nature that can change that. That's already occurred. That sticks out to the RCMP like a sore thumb. They know which direction this is going. Imagine you being the last person to be around two children who are missing and coming out with the bullshit like Janie and Daniel have. You must be some fucking desperate. It made you look even more suspicious and more guilty to the masses. But your tweaker ass couldn't change it. This is classical tweaker geographic front page material. Debbie Robertson accused you all of using fake accounts. I think he was projecting his own behavior. I'm glad you're in my live chat there, Debbie Roberts, because that's what I like to call common sense. That's exactly what he's doing. Think about it. On Derwood's comment, you're saying, well, listen, I don't have to come up here but once a day for a couple hours, get some AdSense money, and have a whole lot of fun talking anything I want about Derwood. Darren, old Darren Geddes, because I'm just calling out exactly what it is that he does. The truth, the reality of the situation. It takes zero scripting, zero effort, zero cognitive load. It's so freeing, it's worth doing. Compare that to what it is that he does. He's fucking miserable, affected by what it is all of these strangers are saying about him at any one point in time. He's got to call people out because why? Doesn't ever have to tell you that. You just register at home when he's upset about something. Oh, I'm going to put your name on blast. Derwood, you're in the background trying to make it look like you're associated to all kinds of different biker clubs. I can't wait to be the one who makes the call to let them know where you live. Now, I'm going to do that. In fact, I almost did that before Shannon got live today. The problem is that there are no chapters of Hell's Angels in Nova Scotia. Not since 2001, son, so I guess that fell through. You're not even a prospect. Oh yeah, Lady Lex. Derwood provides the content himself. I know. He insists on being a part of a case that has international attention. He's a person of interest. I can do this all day. He can't. It looks completely different to the police when he's engaged in all kinds of certain activity. Which, again, is just added on to all of this thing that everybody refers to and doesn't talk about. There's an incident. There's the conspiracy to cover up. There's the whatever Daniel did with the bodies. And why Kent and Derwood are associating themselves and allying themselves so closely to what's so obvious. There's a reason for it. You'll have to ask her. I'm not buying it. Jane Vander, OMG, was it ever? I felt bad for you. I hope it helped. I don't forget what I said about your email, beautiful. Boy, I picked the wrong one to read. Sorry. Okay, detectives, who done it? Number one. I'm the reason silver golds. Fuck that. Jane that's going around. Okay. Hold on.
They had friends, went to school, and it's just, they had teachers that seen them every day, and it's just hard on everybody.
I know we ask you this every single time, but why do you keep doing it?
For Jack and Lily. I don't do this for myself because I'm going to see this online later and people are going to analyze it every time I move my hands.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you there, son? What does that mean you do this for Jack and Lily? You know, it's almost a deception indicator of its own because you're referring back to rhetoric. Opening up all kinds of things here. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I do it for Jack and Lily. I wouldn't be doing it for myself. I do it for Jack and Lily. What does that mean? What does that mean? Psycho traits are often characterized by a lack of empathy and remorse. They can convincingly act innocent or victimized to avoid suspicion. Poor DM. Oh, without a doubt, he's a sociopath. That's don't even have to worry about bringing those up. It's all a yes. It's all a yes with this son of a bitch. Never seen somebody so desperate, almost like the RCMP are toying with you. You're so desperate to be perceived as innocent of something that you don't even want to name, that you can't name or explain. You can't stop trying to convince people of something or other. An innocent person doesn't have that need. An innocent person doesn't need to be going through the motions like you're going through. Oh, please believe us. We're not here to lie to you, Janie says.
Every time I open my mouth, every facial expression, they analyze everything right down to a T. I know that.
Yes, we do.
What would you like the public to know?
I want the public to know if anyone has any information, just please come forward. Call the RCMP, call your local police department, call Crime Stoppers.
Do you still think they're still alive?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, that's all we have is hope.
That's all we have is hope, Danny? That's almost like an admission. That's like telling the world that they're definitely past. All anybody has is hope. I'd like to think that there's a lot more available than that. That's the opposite of what it is that you're canvassing for. When you say all we have is hope, you're hopeless in that sense. You don't have to rely on just your hope in that sense. Sorry, there's no sense searching. We're too busy hoping. Dirty, dirty Danny. Where's your mom's? That's my favorites.
place. And just show people footprint was found in the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found way up on the pipeline.
Look, she's all wound up. She's out of breath, huffing and puffing into the microphone. I was raking right here. It's like at any point in time she'll rip off her skin and you know Satan himself will pop out and breathe fire. I knew it was you, Satan.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lily and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes. A man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. I'm not here to lie.
Welcome, Natalie. Janie is not here to lie. This is probably my favorite spot. Is this the most replayed? It should be. I'm not here to lie.
Came in here and was measuring it all. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place. And just show people that this is what happened.
Speaking about what happened there, Janie, what happened to the rest of the blue tarpaulin that covers the children's playhouse? You can see that there's some left on the bottom and it's torn, and there's some on the top and it's torn. It was like it's torn right off. It was cleaned up, ripped off on purpose and used to maybe wrap the children's body in. That would be the concern. I wonder where it is. You kill me when Daniel Martell just wants the book closed. What book there, DM? Shame on you. 2 beautiful children are missing. You know the children that you were the abusive stepfather of? Jane, I feel that. Wait, we analyze it down to a T. Weird word choice. Down to a T is used when people get it right. LOL. He just told on himself. Yeah, that's... You got that right. A lot of people say that there, not you again. Good point. Lady Lux, me too. I'm sorry, but a lot have been trolling from this start, and no one has caught on, in my opinion. I don't forget idiot, says Tambourine. Captain Justice thinks DM will be analyzed in jail. I don't know, maybe as much as he needs to be. Maybe they'll put him through the psychological evaluation once that he's in there before he takes the stand. Ginger Snap, hope can be a powerful manipulation tactic. True. There's enough of that going on here. The attempt's there at all times. This sheer desire and plead with the public to believe a story in this sense is fairly desperate. And that you're trying to finalize things by showing people where and what happened, and it has nothing to do with Jack and Lily. All of this passive language, this distancing language, this continuous, signs of deception. Janie, we know that you're lying. We don't believe you. The story is irrelevant to wherever and whatever happened to Jack and Lily, every last bit of it. And it doesn't make sense right back to 3:30 And after they were seen on CCTV, the kids, I mean, at Dollarama. We're not even sure that the kids even made it home there, Janie. What do you think about that? How do you know, Janie, that you weren't dreaming when you heard the kids? You say that you were in there sleeping twice in 2 different sets of times. Yet you could wake up and remember what was going on at either time vividly, as though you could differentiate. See, it doesn't work like that. So you're fabricating. You're fabricating these stories. Even more so that you're so careful to avoid using any sort of time frame or reference to time. That would be the first thing that you latch onto. Build yourself out from. Because that's what you do when you're telling the truth. It's the easiest. It's kind of the point of time in the first place. So we can keep track of things, plan things. But you want to avoid that and throw it out the window there, tweaker.
Only I am showing you what happened and where it happened. That's the only difference of me talking to you guys now. As I said, when I gave my interview, I felt this great relief off of my chest because I actually had someone that was willing to listen to me.
See, do you see how she's mirroring the exact thing she's saying in this interview with what she's saying in the background? Like, word for word, as though it's rehearsed and scripted, like she's planned to say that specifically, not resembling true emotion. Come on, Janie.
And not judge me.
She's so worried about being judged.
And you
guys, don't judge me. Well, it's a little too late for that. A little too late for that. Imagine somebody saying, don't judge me, when she lives in that fucking thing in the driveway. And she's mad at you for asking questions. Yeah, there's a problem here.
You guys are not judging me right now. You probably will after I get off here. But I have nothing to hide. I had nothing to hide. I would have come out sooner. But the thing is...
Don't judge Janie. She was just the last person to see Jack and Lily alive, supposedly. And her son, on this property where this story makes absolutely no sense. And you're stupid if you don't believe it.
Is the investigator said, even told Daniel to stay out of the press, stay off of the YouTube talks, stay off the TikToks, stay off of Facebook, because it would hurt their investigation. I am so tired of this investigation shit. I told them this 2 months ago. And yet, we had one report.
She's pretty angry. She's tired of this investigation shit. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? There's Jack and Lily are missing, and Janie is tired of all of this investigation shit. Oh, keep talking, Mrs. Leakage.
From the RCMP of what they have done. It's been a month since we had an update on anything. So I just got it in my mind, it's time that I spoke out. And I did. No, I'm sorry, I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily to share with you. I'm sorry. I don't really have any pictures of my other 2 grandchildren.
Of course you don't.
And because I got to see them, the only pictures that I even have of that I get pictures of is my other 2 grandchildren. I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily. No, I'm sorry. I got to see them every day. Every day. So.
Yeah, you think that she's overlooking the point of even memorializing anything in a picture, especially that you do that's enjoyable as a family or something that you bond over. She wouldn't see that would have never have happened. That's pretty much a verification of that.
No, I'm sorry. Malaya would be the only one that would have any up-to-date pictures of Jack and Lily. The ones that are on the flyers right now, let me have a look, are actually the up-to-date photos of Jack and Lily, because Jack and Lily just get their hair cut not long before that. So the pictures on the photo, on the flyers, are up-to-date pictures. Yes, my RV was searched twice on Friday and Sunday morning. As I said in my interview, I might have said Monday morning, but it was Sunday morning. On Friday, I had search and rescue, checked my trailer. The reason why...
She's also cognitive of areas that she may have slipped up and misspoke in previous accounts. Interesting, isn't it? See, you can use your mind when you need to, Janie. That's signs of intellect there. That's a sign of intelligence. You recognize that you may have said something that was out of line, that wasn't the same. Jane says, Danny, you want the book to be closed one chapter at a time. What book, Danny? You have 2 stepchildren missing that you abused and neglected. And guess what, Danny? The court is going to close the book on you, bitch. Great comment, Jane. And other people too, absolutely. He's not the only one. There's a series of crimes that have happened and are currently happening on the daily as this continues to drag on. Like the conspiracy to cover up is still occurring in that sense. And Derwood and Kent are in the background an accessory to all of that, in my opinion. And most other people's opinion too. The only person's or people's opinion that matters to are the RCMP and the Crown. And they are paying attention. And it is worth pursuing. This isn't something that you were hoping that was just going to go away, or maybe you can plead down to something eventually. This is the worst of the worst, Danny, that you guys have carried out here on the backs of Jack and Lily. And what makes it even worse, just as equally evil, is the fact that you're lying so publicly and openly and comfortably about it all, as though it was premeditated or you were somehow justified or this was meant to happen, and you're not responsible for anything because they weren't your kids. Yet in the same breath you want to portray yourself as some sort of parental role model in their lives up until the point that they disappeared, or the point that you disappeared them. You can't have it both ways.
Why is this Officer Mason was going to come into my trailer, and I said, there's a dog in there, and she said to me, if you interfere in our investigation, I will have you removed from the premises. That's all I was saying to her, is there was a dog in there. And the reason why I said that is my dog, this is his property. And as I said, if my brothers or my family come, and they knock before they come in here. My dog is not a vicious dog. but it is his property. He knows people that come here. He did not know Officer Mason. And the reason why I said there was a dog in there is so she would not open the door and something happened. So after that incident happened, I got search and rescue. I think his name was Rick, to come. Him and 3 searchers came and searched this trailer. And then I heard afterwards that Malaya let people in here to search the trailer. So this trailer was searched twice on Friday. And it was searched again on Sunday morning because Officer Mason came with 3 people, and she asked me to take my dog out of the camper, which I did.
Yeah, they're fucking pulling forensics on her ass. They're going in and taking out samples, pulling some DNA around the spinner, probably taking some samples of her nasty underwear all over the floor.
And they searched this trailer. And as I said, they even looked in my washer spinner. So yes, this trailer, RV, was searched. And as I said about the cupboard, I have no cupboards in my trailer because I renovated it. And if they...
What? You're trying to convince people that you renovated that fucking thing? You mean ripped out the rotten, stinky, moldy, mildew-ridden cupboards and every nook and cranny in there that held all kinds of harmful bacteria and odors? Can you imagine how nasty that place would have been if they doused it down in luminol and a black light? You could have called an NBC and had another episode of investigative reports or Dateline with that. Your house music. Oh, it would have been so nasty. Janie's trailer was filled with all kinds of dog cum stains all over the wall. All over the clothes basket. It'd look like a murder scene regardless. What the hell happened in here? So goddamn nasty. Think about how nasty it is when they just throw a fucking mattress out behind because they can't be asked to take it out to the curb or put it on one of their many vehicles and take it to the dump themselves. Well, we'll just throw that out there. We'll just throw that right in the backyard. Nobody cares. What the fuck happened? What the hell happened on that mattress? And what happened that you don't want to handle it any more than you need to? Talk about unhygienic. So what the hell does the room look like that it came from? Yeah, her excuse is she's really exaggerating and overdoing it there, Michelle. Who cares about your insignificant doggo? Sorry for bothering you, Janie. We have possible dead children, so sorry for inconveniencing you. Yeah, the whole thing is an inconvenience to her. Since the get-go. Everything. And yet she's the victim. That's truly the one thing that I believe. You know, they're forcing themselves into insisting that they've been victimized somehow in all of this. But just telling you and just saying it doesn't quite doesn't quite make things so. Listen, it's impossible for you fucking assholes not to be involved in this. End of. When you wear your paranoia on your sleeve at any point in time. That's what keeps you assholes in our live chats monitoring all of this to the point where you've got to put people on blast and semi-pretend to be associated with bikers who are going to love to find out that a bunch of individuals who are chomos who bring harm towards children, not just a child, are associating themselves with the Hells Angels. That sounds like a reason to take a ride to me. Right to old dirty Derwood's house. Then he's gonna be calling up fucking Sonny Austin again and whining and complaining crying. Everybody else is evil. And hey, everybody, why is Belinda's lawyer Daleen friends with Derwood on Facebook and liking all of his different posts and things like that? Things that make you go, Arsenio. Hey everyone, I'm new to this channel. Who is this Derwood guy? E-Current. Oh, jeez. Oh, E-Current. I can't wait to explain it all to you. Just hold on. Never fucking come back. Get the fuck out of here. There. Go find out somewhere else. Jane needs to say what happened when she says this is everything, where everything happened. Yeah, so why is she so insistent on saying that this is where everything happened? What is everything? The things that you don't like to identify? Like, what a bizarre thing to say. So insistent, so vague, so obscure, ambiguous. Where it happened, right, Squid? Like, what are you talking about? You're also saying that people should be searching anywhere else in the world but there. But this is where it all happened. This place where you don't like to really associate anything to any particular time for at least that we can tell 18 hours. That's an important time frame here. Holy shit, what more do you need to show and demonstrate to a jury of 12 than you guys not wanting to commit to any time frame for 18 hours leading up to when you reported them missing to the RCMP? Yeah, criminally responsible, you fucking idiots. No matter what. You publicly admit these things. So if you're there publicly admitting these things, question then is, what is it you're hiding? The worst of the worst. We believe her. Squid believes that. It all happened there. You're right. Oh, no drama. No drama. It's just minimal here. I'm just good at seeing it. It doesn't go on very well. I know who I want here and who I don't. Derwood and his little band of buddies and his sock accounts. It's so funny to watch them try to troll with negative comments in their new accounts and things like this. Listen, this is a no fucking brainer for anybody with half a brain. To see how scummy it is that you are associating yourself and aligning yourself with the people who don't want to provide any of the answers, and far worse than that proudly lie their way through everything, every step of the way, to the point that the producers here at the CBC know and see and recognize and signal it in the content that they bring us. Jane needs to say what happened when she says this is where everything happened. What exactly happened? Yeah, Scaredy Cat. Will she? No. But we don't need her to go and clarify anything at this point. You don't need any new fucking information other than admissions from these assholes. They've done enough lying. They've done enough acting and behaving. It's a little obvious to anybody in the room who can read a room that this case is building against them. You know, we've given them all of this time to come out with some sort of plausible explanation as to how these children could have magically disappeared, and all that you can think about is yourselves, talk about yourselves, and continue to attempt to obscure everything under the guise that you're really being so helpful to the investigation, when in reality it could be anything but. There's no excuse for not knowing or not being able to come up with any relevant information if you truly were victimized and in need of the RCMP's assistance in the first place. But it was all part of the false report. Oh, by the way, we haven't even brought up that charge. That's minimal. But the false report to the RCMP is just the beginning. You had to sell this story somehow. Just like they tell you in the stupid criminal's handbook, you're going to put the blame back onto the victims and you're going to make them disappear.
Searched my trailer. If I did have a cupboard in here, they would have searched it. So there is no drugs, there is no guns, there is no sex toys of any kind in any cupboard.
Oh, that'll give you nightmares. That's nightmare fuel right there. No sex toys. Oh, gross. Listen, there's something incestuous going on here. You're the one who's introducing sex toys. These things that are standing out to you, that's leakage, Janie. Why would it be anybody's business if there was? You just seem like the type to need them? Or you're well known in the community to have these? River Rat, what a coinkydink that all the supposed responsible adults were drifting in and out of sleep that morning. Yeah, in the middle of the morning, as a replacement for what actually really happened. That's how desperate they are. Like, that's not an actual excuse. And for you to revert down is really like snubbing your nose at excuses in the first place. Like, you really haven't given it an excuse for all of this. You were just drifting in and out of sleep in the middle of the morning. Come on. Hardly. But it's not important. What's important is that people see that you're lying and have lied to police with the intent to mislead them. Someone needs to tip her off pink cherry over Temu disposables she's been getting clearly. You think that's a disposable top? Like, I don't even know who that would look good on. I mean, I've never seen a garment so hideous in my life. I don't think even Claudia Schiffer could make that top look good. There's no making that top look good. It's not. It's like what somebody did with their rolls that they fucked up in length that are hanging around the shop. They just attached a zipper to them, sewed up a couple. Like, you remember the craze back in the 80s, like windbreakers? It's almost like making windbreakers again. Really don't have to do anything and try to make them cool. You know, it probably keeps mosquitoes and black flies away. The same reason that the Japanese paint their cows like black and white stripes, because when mosquitoes pick and go to the place where they're programmed to go and feed from, the scattering of the light that garment produces probably confuses them, and they choose a different host in that sense. I think I'm probably onto something with that. So it's probably a survivalist piece of gear that you would want to take into the like Canadian boreal forest. And that probably wouldn't even do a great job. It's just a selling point. That's how they advertise it. It's tactical in that sense against mosquitoes. Against those giant motherfucking blood-sucking mosquitoes. The ones that keep landing on her head in that nasty old fucking RV that keeps reminding her of the hell that she has put herself in, or that Daniel and Malaya and the kids continue to put herself in. Trying to convince herself and lie to herself that she's happy back there, at least for the day, in order to get to sleep at night.
So, does that answer your question for the second time? Here, be nice in the chat, or I end this conversation right now. The lady that was asking me questions, I wish she continue answering me questions. If not, I am done. When she is done asking me questions, you guys can comment all you want. I have nothing to hide. I lost everything in my life. So, after I'm done talking and telling my side of the story, the truth, if you want to comment and say whatever you want, believe me, I do not care.
But you do care. But you do care because you're going out of your way to mention it. You went to all of that effort to explain to the audience about how they needed to be nice or you were going to leave. And then you continued to go on and troll the audience like this was some sort of wrestling promo shoot about how everybody's stupid and that you don't care what people think of you. Yeah, you do. That's why you're going through this. Little miss important in the moment. You're scared they'll go to prison, in your opinion? See who can tell the biggest lie? Once the RCMP decide to sit down and scrutinize their story, they're not going to turn back. There's going to be no leaving that interview room for Janie, Daniel, or Malaya. Up to this point, they've been gathering information in that phase. They haven't been put in a position other than in an attempt to try to rule and clear their names. They were given a polygraph examination where they were really put in a position to ask certain questions and be observed by the greater team and have it on camera so they can go back and analyze it later. It's just part of the process. They knew what they were dealing with since the get-go and how this was going to go because you're only going to get so much from old Danny no matter how this is playing out. Listen, any cop there, and most of them probably have their own families, would recognize the problem in not being able to find a child within minutes. But you have to rule out certain things. That's why these search and rescue organizations exist. Bring them in to rule things out. Meanwhile, the investigation is flowing, is already progressing. Because there's a reality, a truth here that's being obscured by Daniel and Janie. All right. And the truth is what really happened to Jack and Lily. What was the incident, number one? And why are everybody so bonded in trying to be an alibi, no matter how poorly configured it is and how poorly communicated and portrayed it is, and it's baseless and nonsense. Why is it that they rely on this nonsense so much? It's fascinating to watch. Anybody can see that they're lying. Something happened to Jack and Lily. Something very fundamentally wrong happened to Jack and Lily. Horse gone wild. I think at this point the RCMP would take them. Okay, so I'll finish that statement off. So the RCMP build rapport with the suspects in the circumstance. They do their best to under the peace method. But there comes a time where they don't play that anymore, where they further scrutinize the story, when they get in the know of certain things and they develop a game plan. And it doesn't make sense that you're going to necessarily have that right away unless there's so many obvious things sticking out to you. This hasn't been like that because the scene has been cleaned up and there's no trace that we know of in that sense. It doesn't make sense. And in a circumstance like that, it weighs against the individuals, the adults that were last seen with the kids, not anybody else. All of the nonsense that they tried to portray made no sense. None of it. So at some point when they get enough information, then they'll pull them back in and they'll take them through the entire situation and go through it once again. We'll put an old seal on it and they'll take them to a point where they'll just get them to in a position where they're going to be forced to say one thing or the other. And their silence in that moment to those investigators are going to be the determining factors. You're either going to choose to answer the question, you're going to choose to try to lie, or you're going to choose to not say anything. Surround yourself with a lawyer. That might be Malaya's, but Daniel and Janie can't afford a lawyer. So when they get the information and they get their team together and they get a game plan together, and this is how they're going to approach it, which takes time. You know them. When they put their minds to it, they don't stop in that sense. Once they get them in that interview room, they're not going to leave the interview room. They'll be in custody at that point. Now, that's going to be their best bet in getting what really happened, because that whole series of events on the suspects is going to be so traumatic. And however it is that they break them when they interview them all in the same room at the same, at the different room at the same time in that sense, and trip them up over their stories and catch them in lies in the moment on camera, that's going to be the evidence that is going to be guaranteed to end this nonsense that they bring to the public. Because there's going to come a day where it's really going to be your word in a court of law, like it or not. And at very least, everything, and they've come up to a point of really acknowledging how criminally negligent that they were in this situation. Now, I expect that when they go in and try to shake them down, emotionally break them, it depends, they might not have to. Janie might just turn on both of them, sick to death of them. Who knows how this is going to play out? We don't know all of the finite details yet, but we know that something happened and they're responsible for it. You imagine how these investigators are what's keeping them up at night? All the different ways that they can go in and penetrate that psyche in the future. That's what keeps them up at night. It's not this sentimental wish things were different scenario. They're seeing what we're seeing, only they have a lot more of the answers in that sense. They are the investigation. We're a simulation of that. They're not shaking their fist, worried that these assholes are going anywhere, going to get away with anything. It's as it was handed to them. Nothing's making sense. And it's going to even, that point is going to look even greater at a different point in time in the future. And suit them for whatever way that they want to proceed. But they're not going to be making announcements and telling you that we're going to take this case in a different direction, not with what all of the information that's already available to us. We don't need any more clarification from these jokers. You don't need any more opportunities to try to clarify or bring forth some sort of statement to clarify for why Jack and Lily are no longer around that particular residence. The information that you provided is not going to float with the public or the RCMP. And the fact that that's where you are leaving things tells everybody that this is going to be going to the next level. And this is going to be a classic situation. Maybe they'll just pin them together in the court. They want to play games like this, then you get them in front of the court and cross-examine them, Malaya, Daniel. Then you start to build what really happened for that jury of 12, knowing full well what's going to lay out in that sense. As soon as they start turning on one another, that's it. Things will really proceed at that point in time, and I believe that point in time isn't too far away. It's not Malaya's responsibility that she needs to come out and lead any sort of effort at this point in time, after the fact. All of this is under the bridge, but it speaks to the circumstances and what's really gone on. You can either use her as depends whose trial you're going through at this point in time. There's a lot of people involved in this. There's a lot of adults that were on that property. Now, whether Janie's going to be involved in it is going to depend on how much she's involved in the incident that took Jack and Lily's life. We know that she's an accessory after the fact in this conspiracy to cover up these crimes against children. That is the one that makes them desperate. They know what that's going to mean. That would be like a death sentence. A crime against a child is a death sentence. There goes your life. And they're very desperate to try to hold on to that particular lifestyle, this fabulous RV living lifestyle that's going on here in this tweaker heaven.
I am telling you guys, if you don't believe me, that's your problem or your opinion. If you want to give a comment, I am all done with this once I've talked to you guys.
Imagine a person who is a reliable witness and innocent of any wrongdoing against Jack and Lily in this circumstance wouldn't be telling you and trying to differentiate and remind you about opinions being opinions. In fact, it's really unnecessary that she's there in the first place. Wouldn't you have other things to be worried about? She's so worried about blending in the moment. Things stand out just so corny and cheesy after the fact in her behavior. Listen, dummy.
No, I thought everything was going well with Daniel and Malaya. I have never seen them fight.
So here's an example of her exaggerating the opposite way. She thought things were going just tickety-boo between Daniel and Malaya. Meanwhile, the reality is that she's been planning to leave all of this time. It's been out there and open. She's got U-Hauls on their way over that she called off. It's a real problem. But old Janie doesn't know anything about it. Oh no, this is where she covers. She's got no problem lying to you in real time. None of this is reality, Janie. Everybody knows that they have major fucking problems. Even Malaya acknowledges it throughout. Why don't you? Why is it that you have to imagine and pretend that things were great between them, especially when things obviously weren't and she's gone right now? Talk about major avoidance.
Never really seen them arguing. When I was in there, I'm not sure about what happens when I'm not there. As I told the reporters, and I'm telling you guys, I live in the RV, they live in the trailer. I let them have their personal space, they let me have my personal space. The only difference I seen in Malaya that day of the disappearance is when I saw her outside and she was standing there holding Meadow, and I had to ask her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lily were missing, and I asked her how long. That's the only behavior difference that I've seen in Malaya, except for this time that the altercation happened at the end of the driveway, which I have nothing.
Except the altercation at the end of the driveway. Not to mention that you said that you don't pay any attention to Malaya anyway, so how would you know any different? You don't interact with her. You don't have a conversation with her. How would you be able to recognize?
No, nothing, no knowledge about. I didn't listen to what I just went up to her and said, please don't tell, she was crying. I said, please don't tell me that Jack and Lily are dead. And then, as I said, Haley and her friend, I think it was Shelby, I can't be 100% sure, started saying stuff. I wasn't in the mood to listen to arguments. I didn't want to fight because whatever was going on had nothing to do with Jack and Lily. That's when I ordered them off the property. The police came. I gave my statement of what I've done. Other than that, that's the only difference that I've seen in Malaya's, whatever you call it, the personality or whatever she...
Yeah, well, it's easy for her after that to introduce the reason why she does it psychologically. I'm not buying it too. Dead, who would ask that's the question. Is she's introducing the fact that Jack and Lily are dead, the possibility of at that point in time. Whether it happened or it didn't happen, it's regardless. It's an issue here that she's introducing at a particular point in time, answering a lot about what her mind frame would have been in if she's lying.
Changes. Sorry. In Malaya was that day. Now, this is me, myself. If my children were missing in the woods, or if somebody has taken them, I would be so hysterical. I would be running around, screaming and hollering, looking everywhere, crying, just like a normal person would be. That a mother. You can't tell me that you carry a child for 9 months and something happens to them that you're not going to get hysterical and you're not going to be crying and screaming and everything. Well, tell me. I would be. And another thing, I'm going to tell you something now. If something happened to my children, my boys.
Here's where Janie gives you her justification for why it is that she's gone all this way to lie to you and put forth such an effort in this case. This is her real rationale, her real reasoning. She's really telling you how she is in this moment. Trying to show you the human side of her. Because she hasn't felt that she's gotten that through to you yet at this point. He's telling you just how much she would protect Daniel. Well, Danny, especially if he was in trouble, and he is in trouble here, isn't he?
I would be so hysterical even though they're 34 and 33 or 33. I would still be hysterical if something happened to them. Even though they're growing up. Mama will always be a part of their lives, no matter how old they are. And Mama feels for those kids. I don't care if my kid, if I'm 85 years old and my kid is 60-some years old, I am still going to worry about my children.
Listen, you don't care that you look 85 years old. You look 85 years old right now, honey. You're not even going to live to see 85, so it's not even going to be a concern. But you don't seem to show much concern over the way that you look now. And yeah, you do look like you're 85. She's drunk? Could be. Her fake crying voice stopped when she got her son's age wrong. Well, listen, she's senile too. And a liar. It's a dangerous combination. You hear that, Derwood? You hear that, you old drunk, booze-nosed bastard? Why don't you tell everybody how tough you are? Oh, I used to be a boxer. Oh, I used to be a boxer. Who gives a fuck? What's that going to do? What's that going to do when I put my steel toe right up your asshole? That'll be right after I push that fucking Kent down the hill into Halifax Harbor. And that's going to happen. Whether it's the preliminary hearings or whether it's the full trial of any one of these son of a bitches, it's going to happen. And I'm going to blast it on YouTube and make fucking money all over it. Wait till this progresses to the point that there's going to be a reason to be there. People will be there. Old Derwood will be back there trying to tell everybody how many friends he has associated with the Hells Angels and how dangerous he is and how he used to be and how he knows fucking everybody and who to know, who not. And dude, you sound like a goddamn inbred hick. Shut the hell up. You're nothing but a curly-haired fucking freak with that little chomo goddamn mustache that you try to pull off, trying to get yourself in the way of attention with 2 missing children. Why is there children and abuse around when you're around, Derwood, and you're lying as though that you're a child molester? Stranger danger.
And I am still gonna cry for my children. So you just look at what I've seen and what you've seen on the tape of Malaya's interview. Does that look like a woman that misses her children? Please answer me that. If there's no more questions, I've pretty well answered everything that I could answer on my part. As I said, I'm not answering questions about Malaya, about Daniel. It's all about Jack and Lily. I told you what I've known and what I've seen. I
All about Jack and Lily. So far, it's all been about you there, honey baby.
hope it helps you guys, ease your guys' minds. And I thank you guys for letting me talk to you and for not judging me for when I'm talking to you. And thank you to whoever was answering the questions. I appreciate you volunteering to do that and making it easy for me to answer questions. And I hope you keep praying for Jack and Lily. And I hope they come home soon.
Janie makes a valid point here about being hysterical. Is this leakage hinting that MBM started this problem that they had to clean up for her? I think she's kind of insinuating that a little bit because she's being more critical of Malaya's behavior or her portrayal of her behavior when she doesn't know what the hell happened in the first place, and she can't have it both ways. She's really showing us, telling us that she knows what happened. She's presented it in that tense. Okay? It's been 20 minutes and you're standing in the driveway telling everybody that the kids are missing and it's been 20 minutes. That doesn't make any sense. Listen. That wouldn't even make the fucking cutting room floor of a Columbo episode. All right? That's so fucking stupid. Word up, Shannon. Yeah, you feel it, Angry Rabbit. You feel how emotionally manipulative it is. Absolutely. It's purposefully that way. She's here trying to play on those. They all do. And it's a constant thing that they can listen. It's a case that is difficult to ignore in that sense. And when you realize the level of deception and the lies at hand, and you digest that a little bit, it becomes a lot more shocking because it becomes a lot more evident as to what happened and what led up to Jack and Lily no longer being with us. And you've got the suspects not wanting to say a word. They talk a lot, but they don't say anything. Do you get that? The whole abduction thing started on day 2 when the criminal investigators came in because they did not find the children day 1. Regardless, they've got problem on their hands. There's this driving all night, and there's these reports of 2 different people talking about old Danny's car being out and back and forth, all within earshot from the hours of 12 to 4. There's all kinds of things that they need to talk about. You can't just ignore that. They're not ignoring that. Unfortunately, that fucking idiot drunk turkey goes over and tries to play that every which way on and just starts to disinform on the topic altogether. That tells you how fucking ridiculous he is. His intentions are not for Jack and Lily, but he's over there exploiting the situation nonetheless. I expect all of you diehards and realists out there to go and fight that battle and let him know just how disgruntled you are with that asshole. What a tool he is. Shannon, thank you very much. 20 Australian, eh? High five, my Aussie friend. I appreciate that.
And when I go on again, if there's some questions that you guys have not answered and I see them, I will answer your questions. So thank you for taking the time and listening to me babble and get it out there. And thank you for letting me cry on your shoulders. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ken. You'll know what it's about.
There you are. Thank you, Kent. Thank you, Kent. He'll know what that's about. That's coded language. That's acknowledged coded language by old fancy pants Janie here. Hey, Wolfie, thank you very much. Hey, Bud Coffee. Yeah, so, Wolfie, is Derwood intimidating you in the background? Is he trying to intimidate you? You let people know. I'll wait till tomorrow on Shannon's channel. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. I wouldn't even worry about him. Don't even worry about it. Just put it in the pile for the RCMP. Send it off to the RCMP because, like it or not, Derwood, Darren Geddes has inserted himself in this case and made him relevant for whatever reason. And he's on the RCMP radar to begin with. They have a history with him. So every time that he pulls stupid shit, that we recognize the point of it at this point, rather than as we met that stupid son of a bitch to begin with, it's a whole different ballgame at this point. It doesn't look very good for old Darren Geddes. There's a reason why he's already ostracized from fucking society in the first place. Little bitch. She's fake crying. She's thanking Kent. Oh, thank you, Kent. You'll know what that means. Thank you for this ragged RV.
About. I appreciate that. So I'm going to take off now. I may be on a little later. I may not. But
Oh, crap. I was muted. Sorry.
thank you very much, guys.
I was just saying that she seems like a real Elizabeth Taylor here. She's like, her exit is taking for fucking ever. All of these thanks that she needs to give out as though this was the Oscars. She's thanking Kent. Oh, thank you very much, Kent. You'll know what that means. Oh, God. She's like Elizabeth Taylor's antithesis. You know, and Liz was beautiful and talented. And Janie is just this nasty Timu fucking version of Liz Taylor. Yo, Jen R.
Oh, there's just one last thing I'd like to say. I don't know how many people are from Nova Scotia or Pictou County or whatever. I would just like to say this, and this is my opinion. but to Robert Parker and Tim Houston, you took the time to go over to the RCMP station and talk to them, but you didn't take the time to come here and see how we were doing. And
why the fuck would anybody need to come and see how you guys are doing when you don't even like the kids in the first place? You don't even portray that you care about the situation in the first place. And you're expecting people to come over and bow down and sympathize with whatever it is that you say that happened? There's a real fucking cart before the horse problem here. Mimi, that's very generous of you, darling. Did one of Derwood's socks get a membership? I hope so. Then he'll see all the funny photos I made of him on my community wall. It's like Mr. Potato Head meets Operation with that fucking guy.
you're all about the community and you're all about the people. Well, we were two people that needed you and you were not around. And I don't think that was right because you're there.
So there we go. We have Janie saying and identifying that her and Daniel are the two people that needed to be waited upon and sought out in that sense. Where's Malaya in all of this? What about the other victims? What about the other people, Jack and Lily? You needed to be counseled. You needed to be waited on hand and foot. What did you expect? A fucking welcome home basket? What did you want? Like a soap, maybe some cheese and some fucking meat, some jam? Little package? Little housewarming gift? Like, what do you think this is? But yet, she hates the investigation. It's just fucking ridiculous. Such an inconvenience. She doesn't even believe in the things that she's saying. It's infuriating. When the fuck is Earl going to show up to slap the shit out of this bitch?
For everyone, not just people that you're favored to. So, if you hear this, or if you go into this chat, or whoever knows them, please let them know that I do not like what they have done. Hi, I'm sorry.
So, isn't it interesting that she's putting herself in a position to sit there and critique all of the public officials, considering nobody knows what the hell is going on in the first place, yet she's in a position to be critiquing and telling everybody all of the mistakes that they've already made thus far, as though she's in the know about anything. You can't be there. You can't be in more than one place at a time in this circumstance, Janie baby. What's up, Rhiannon? Trail hiker. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, friends. Okay, 2 hours. We're going to shut this down tonight. We're going to have some snacks around here. Hopefully, we'll keep it going. Keep an eye out for some uploads. Listen, friends, I appreciate the super chats and you all sticking it out tonight on another segment, another episode, talking about the reality of the unfortunate situation with Jack and Lily Sullivan. It's not pretty, but somebody has to do it, and I encourage each and every one of you to take a stand against the nonsense, bullshit narrative that's being portrayed to all of you by Darren Geddes, Daniel Martel, Janie, and all of the people who align themselves with them. We'll see you guys in the next one.
for the top.